Hi, I'm Ugo Gentilini. I'm the Global Lead for Social Assistance at the World Bank. And I had the pleasure today to participate in an event sponsored by CALP on the future of financial assistance. Together with other speakers, I had really the opportunity to go through some of the major drivers that are likely going to affect the provision of humanitarian assistance moving forward. And one of the big takeaways from the meeting is that in a number of countries, especially low and middle income countries that are shock affected, the scalability of social protection systems is going to be very important. And it is very likely that the scalability of those systems would have to count on both government capacities as well as the capacity of partner organizations, including the humanitarian actors. There are many lessons upon which to build upon. Safety nets and humanitarian assistance have been implemented in tandem successfully in a number of countries, but there are also a number of challenges. For example, from an institutional perspective, in many cases, it's hard to know the kind of programs that humanitarians are working on relative to those sponsored by governments. Or it can happen that the use of technology by the humanitarian community, which is part of the life-saving purpose of humanitarian assistance, can be in stark contrast with the level of capacities that governments have. For example, in some refugee camps, blockchain technology is used to support refugees, while government systems very much rely on manual payments or cash transfers from post offices. And perhaps more deeply, there is a little bit of divide from a financial perspective, whereby about over 95% of humanitarian assistance is not channeled through government structures. Now, there are oftentimes good reasons for that. Sometimes governments are part of the conflict, but other times humanitarian assistance is provided in parallel because of limited capacities of governments. But what does really a limited capacity mean? It would be important, I believe, for the entire system, from development to the humanitarian space, to have a shared understanding of what are those capacities, how to measure them, and how far can they go. In a way, I think a process similar to that of the financial sector stress testing would be useful in a number of ways for both humanitarians and social protection practitioners. Stress testing social protection could help us provide information on how quickly can existing programs be scaled, and what is needed in addition to those capacities. Who's going to fill the gap between how far governments can go and how high the needs are? Having a shared understanding, a common framework, a common way of defining and measuring capacities can become an important way of both preparing for crisis as well as coordinating assistance among spaces, humanitarians, and social protection that often don't have much an opportunity to exchange information.